So what if I told you there's a major global equity market trading at some of its cheapest valuation in past decade? It's backed by government stimulus with 5 structural growth themes unfolding right now. And most investors are either ignoring it or have given up on it entirely. That market is actually called Greater China. And today, based on a briefing I attended last week from a professional fund managers covering this market, I want to talk about why 2026 might actually be the year that changes. Hey guys, it's Kevin here. I'm an investment consultant and a registered real estate negotiator based in Mont Kiara, which means I help people to build wealth through property and finance. And it's not just buying or selling property. Let's get into today's topic. Today, a market education piece based on a briefing I attended with a professional fund managers covering Greater China equities. It's not a product pitch, just what I learned and what I think is worth knowing. So let me start with the macro picture because the fundamentals are genuinely turning. For almost 3 years, China's economy was actually dealing with a deflationary cycle, meaning prices were actually falling. That's bad for companies, bad for earnings, and bad for stock markets. But as of early 2026, we can see that the trend has actually reversed. Producer prices have turned positive again for the first time since 2022. That's a very significant signal. The government has set a GDP growth target 4.5 to 5% for this year, and they are backing it with real money. Hundreds of billions in consumer stimulus, equipment upgrading programs, and special government bond issuance running into the trillions of renminbi. Manufacturing activity, as measured by the Purchasing Managers Index (PMI), has held above the expansion line consistently. The exports remain resilient. Industrial upgrades are accelerating. For long-term investors, the economic inflection points where a trend changes direction are historically where some of the best entry opportunities have been found. Now, let's talk about price because a great story at the wrong price is still a bad investment. Greater China equities right now are not expensive. In fact, they are trading near their lowest forward price to earnings multiples relative to global peers in over a decade. So to put that into context, the US stock market is actually trading at a premium valuation. Europe is middling. Greater China is trading at a significant discount. Not because the companies are bad, but because the global investors have underweight China since 2021. And years of selling have created what we call a valuation gap. The equity risk premium, essentially the extra return you're being offered for taking on equity risk, is actually elevated. Historically, elevated risk premiums are when long-term investors have been compensated most generously. So I'm not saying buy because it's cheap. I'm saying cheap plus a turning macro plus structural growth themes, that's a compelling combination. Here's something most retail investors they don't know. Greater China equities have historically had very low correlation with US and European stock markets. The 10-year correlation between China's broader equity market and the US S&P 500 is somewhere between 0.14 and 0.27 depending on which index. For context, European markets correlate with US at 0.5 to 0.8. That's very nearly correlated. China and US barely move together at all. So what does that mean in practice? When US market fall because of the Fed rate concerns or recession fears, China markets don't necessarily follow. And vice versa. In a world where traditional diversification like mixing stocks and bonds has become less effective, adding a genuinely uncorrelated asset can actually improve your portfolio's risk-adjusted returns. Diversification is often the only free lunch in investing, and Greater China equities may be one of the most underutilized sources of genuine diversification available to Malaysian investors today. So beyond the macro and valuations, there are 5 structural themes playing out in Greater China right now. These aren't short-term trends, these are decade-long transformations. Theme number 1, AI and technology. China has built a competitive AI ecosystem from data centers to large language models, that's LLM, to chip manufacturing. The domestic manufacturing of advanced chip equipment is still below 20% locally sourced. That's an enormous runway for domestic players. And AI data centers today require fundamentally different infrastructure from the cloud era. It's higher power density, faster deployment, and larger orders. Theme number 2, modern manufacturing and robotics. In February 2026, China published a national safety standard for level 3 and level 4 autonomous driving. That's a regulatory green light for commercial deployment. Robo-taxis are operating in major cities now. Humanoid robots entered the mass production in 2025. The entire supply chain, actuators, servo motors, vision AI chips, battery systems, this is a manufacturing opportunity playing directly to China's core competency. Theme number 3, biotech and AI accelerated drug discovery. China's share of global clinical trials has been rising consistently for a decade. Outbound licensing deals where Chinese biotech firms license their discoveries to global pharma companies are accelerating. AI is transforming drug discovery. There are lower costs, shorter timelines, and higher success rates. China's healthcare AI market is still in early innings. Theme number 4, energy transition. Solar powered is projected to grow about 1% of China's electricity generation in 2015 to potentially 15% or more by 2030. Energy storage systems are growing at 37% this year alone. China accounts for more than half of global installations. Data center power demand is growing at 23% per year towards 2030. This is a commercially viable, profitable energy transformation. It's not a government mandate against market forces. Theme number 5, Halo assets. Halo stands for HALO, heavy assets, low obsolescence. Think about data centers, power grid infrastructures, semiconductors, satellites, and energy storage. These assets are capital intensive and they have high exposure to AI build out, but they have long useful lives. You participate in the AI growth story without taking on the full obsolescence risk of cutting edge hardware. Now, I want to be balanced because no market is without risk and Greater China has real ones too. Geopolitical tensions between US and China remain elevated. Trade tariffs and technology restrictions create uncertainty. The property sector, while stabilizing, is still not fully healed. Equity markets here have higher volatility than, say, US blue chips or domestic Malaysian equities. You can have drawdowns of 20 to 30% in a correction. That's not for everyone. The key question is there risk? Of course there is. The key question is, am I being adequately compensated for that risk? And at current valuations with the structural themes we've discussed, the answer from many professional fund managers is yes, you are. Position sizing matters. You don't bet your entire portfolio on one market. But for investors with a medium to long-term horizon, 3 years or more, the risk-reward case for Greater China is among the most compelling in global equities right now. So before I wrap up, a few more important things. Everything I've shared today is educational content based on a professional briefing I attended. It's not financial advice. Any returns or performance figures I've referenced are historical and past performance is not indicative of future results. All investments carry risk, including a possible loss of capital. If you're considering any allocation to Greater China equities or any investment, please feel free to speak to a licensed financial planner who can look at your full picture. So for advice specific to a situation, I'm happy to have a look at it for you and have a direct conversation with you. Greater China markets right now represent a rare convergence. Historically cheap valuations, a turning macro cycle, a massive structural growth themes, genuine portfolio diversification, and a government committed to economic recovery. So if you're a Malaysian investor with little to no exposure to Greater China equities, this is really worth a serious look. Not a reckless all-in move, but a thoughtful sized position as part of the diversified portfolio. And if you need this to be Sharia compliant, there are funds also specifically built for that. So feel free to DM me if you want to dig into your own portfolio allocation. And if this was useful, please feel free to follow me. And I post every week and I reply to every single comment. You got any questions about your specific situation, please feel free to DM me and I'll answer you as soon as I can. I'm Kevin Day. I'll see you in the next one.